Style is definitely not one size fits all. It's something that you develop, and that is something very personal, and you will work on for years, decades. This is a lifelong process. And it should evolve, as you do. Style is an extension of you. It's a part of you. It's going to make you feel a certain way. Tend to it, care for it, make sure it's nurtured. And so that means checking in on it regularly. Yes, it may feel good what you're wearing right now, but you know you've worn it for the last 17 years and you really need to pick it up. Just don't be lazy. Try new things. If you know that you've hit a point in your life where you've become a little complacent, your style's stuck in a rut, buy something you wouldn't ordinarily buy and at least try it. Continue to invest in your style. And I'm not talking about a lot of money. I'm talking about investing the time to make sure that you still feel that same kind of newness, that same kind of excitement about what you're putting on your body every day. I see style as ever evolving for anyone, including myself. Even though I style for a living, that is constantly evolving. I never want it to become stale. What I wish somebody had taught me was that I didn't have to embrace every trend. When I was younger, especially at college and in my first couple of jobs, I thought, oh, I've got to keep up with the trends. I've got to seem like a cool kid. And now I look back thinking, what a plonker. You do not need to participate in trends in order to be stylish. However, trends are a really fun part of style. So incorporate one or two as you feel comfortable. Don't go crazy with it. Just play with it. See it as an extension of your current closet and of your current style. When there's a new trend that comes out, I will at least experiment with many of them, even if I know there's no way I'm going to wear 16 of these, but I may find one. And so I will try it and mix it into my regular wardrobe, my capsule wardrobe, and find a way of incorporating it that makes it feel like me. That version of a trend, that is very much me. That's why it's important to decide who you are beforehand. You stick to that rule of who do I want to be, what do I want to portray, and you won't go wrong. You won't fall victim to all of these trends. Trends are changing constantly. They actually change at a much faster rate these days than they did 15 years ago before we had social media and very easy access to the internet. Back in the day, a trend would last roughly around about 6 months and you'd know we'd move on to something else quite soon after that. However, these days with fast fashion in particular, you can have a new trend every 3 or 4 weeks. As quickly as they can produce a new trend, you will have a new trend on the streets. Don't spend money on a trend. Find the cheapest option you can find of that trend if you desperately want to incorporate it into your wardrobe. Spending so much money on a trend really is throwing money away. You may as well literally burn it. I would rather you spend that money on something that you know you will wear for at least the next few years. The way that I see trend versus classic is, has that thing been around for a long time? Have I seen versions of it before? Therefore, is it a classic? Probably yes. Is this new? Is this something that feels exciting? Am I seeing every cool kid around town wearing it? It's probably a trend. Do I want to invest in it? Probably not. I'll spend very little money on it and keep it for a short amount of time. When I was younger, I couldn't afford a lot of the new trends, but I could afford ways of making what I already had tie into a new trend. A lot of trends are color-based, so you may know, maybe you don't know, that every year there is a new color of the year as far as interior design goes or fashion. Every year there's that one color that everybody says, that's your standout. Everyone needs this in their closet. You may not be able to afford a new closet of that color. Let's say, for example, it's oxblood. You can't afford that, but you've got a bunch of white t-shirts that you're not really using anymore. A couple of them got a little bit dingy, and you can afford the $4 pack of dye. You can make that oxblood shirt yourself. You can be on trend by using a little bit of crafty know-how. About 2 years ago, there was a trend of cropped denim jackets. They were often frayed, the collar was often ripped off, and it was left with just the stand collar, and that was frayed. Instead of buying those jackets, and I saw these jackets on sale for a lot of money, I created my own. I took my own denim jacket that I wasn't really wearing anymore, and I ripped off the hem, I ripped off the collar, and I frayed it myself. It took all of 10 minutes. That jacket was just sat in my closet. It would never have seen the light of day again, most likely, and I turned it into that current trend. Almost every town I know of in America and anywhere else I've been has some kind of craft store. Even if it's not a dedicated craft store, they'll have a craft section in your major supermarket where they'll sell fabric paints, dyes, sewing kits. There's always somewhere locally that you can find whatever you need to customize your clothing. Trends always find a way to come back around, whether it be 10 years later, 20 years later. With clothing, you can't really reinvent the wheel. The last person that reinvented the fashion wheel was Diane von Furstenberg with her wrap dress. Since then, nothing wildly revolutionary has happened as far as style has gone. Clothes have gone. And so trends will reappear. They'll be muddled up slightly and repurposed and made new again, but they really are just repurposed trends. They'll come back over and over again. That's fine. Just know which ones are going to work for you. And if you've worn them before, don't wear them again. Knowing which clothes of yours to keep and trends to keep is actually very difficult to do, and I'm still trying to master it. There's certain things that you feel like you've exhausted in your closet. If you feel that way, let them go. I'm not one for hoarding. I do like to clear out my closet as much as possible, and the main reason I do that is because somebody could really benefit from the clothes that you have. So if you're not wearing it anymore, instead of keeping it in your closet for 20 years in the hopes that that trend might come back around, somebody could actually really benefit from that clothing. So maybe edit down, give that to charity, and then if that trend does come back around, buy it again, maybe a more accessible version. You will make mistakes. That's fine. You'll look back on a picture from a year ago thinking, what the heck was I thinking? What you were thinking was you were going through an evolution, you were trying new things, and you wanted to find your style. Totally fine, totally acceptable. I have things that I've worn within the last 10 years that I look back on and think, oh, that was rough. But I'm glad I did it because it helped me get to where I am now with my style. Some of my rough looks, okay, there was one from 2 years ago, a year and a half ago maybe. I loved the crossbody trend. And I'm not talking about the little satchel crossbody because I still love that. I'm talking about like the fanny pack crossbody. And now I look at it and think, what grown man steps into a room and expects to be taken seriously with a bloody honing beaker on his chest? It's ludicrous. Let's keep that for the kids. I wore it in an episode of Queer Eye, and that was unwise. Instead of a handbag, you carry a trash bag?
Uh-huh. You want to see?
You got it here? Yeah, I want to see it.
And it got pockets. I bet you never see the trash bag with pockets, have you?
Your trash bag has pockets?
Uh-huh.
What else did I wear? Oh, my 21st birthday. I thought that I was Paris Hilton. And so I wore a Von Dutch t-shirt, a Von Dutch cap, and Von Dutch sweatpants. Velour. That definitely wasn't me. That was Paris Hilton. She's a white lady. I'm a brown guy. In my early 20s also, I would wear a very wide, low-cut jean as if I was a hip-hop star. Let's say Missy Elliott, because that's who I was channeling every time I went shopping. Again, I'm not a super awesome black lady who's at the top of her game. I was a South Asian guy definitely pretending to be straight. I wasn't trying to be gay at that point. All those bad moments that I look back on, I was trying to be somebody I definitely wasn't. I wouldn't say that any of these things are mistakes. It's all part of getting to the place you want to be with your style. You're testing things out. You're seeing if you can make them work. So experiment, play. If you're not making any mistakes, you're not doing it right. You've not tried hard enough. It should be playful. It should be fun. It shouldn't just be safe. Certain things that I wish had never gone out of style are heels for men. Heels were actually made for men, by men, many decades ago. And it was just to encourage men to stand a certain way and offer them a little more height. It's turned into very high heels for women. I get that. However, a 2-inch heel for a man should not be unacceptable. That should be perfectly ordinary. If you want to add just that slight bit of height and it makes you stand in a certain way, I don't see why you shouldn't. And so I wish that hadn't gone out of style. I wish it hadn't become taboo for men to wear a slight heel. Something that went out of style a while ago, but I love so much for women, is a knee-high sock. I think they look gorgeous. Clueless did a really good job of making them a thing, and they became such a thing that they went out of style very, very quickly, but they look super chic with the right outfit. Knee-high boots. I like a knee-high boot. I love a thigh-high boot, but they've been so overdone. They're starting to fall out of favor. However, I think they're a classic. They will always be around. There's just a right way and a wrong way of doing it. Some of my least favorite trends since I've been around. Velour tracksuits, never exciting. Bedazzled jeans were very hot in the early 90s. If I never see them again, it'll be too soon. Square-toed shoes. Don't get me wrong, I do have a couple, but they are for very certain occasions, very particular pairs of pants, and I use them sparingly. They are not my everyday shoe. Please don't make them your everyday shoe. Cork wedges. Just do yourself a favor and take my advice on this one. You'll never look back and think, ooh, I'm so glad I wore those. And style does not just mean the clothing or accessories that you're putting on your body. It also includes your hairstyle. That red rinse that was all the rage 6 years ago, that colour is not your friend. It's not doing you any favours. I promise you're going to regret it.